What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about having the synastry aspect of your Neptune in conjunction to your partner. When it comes to having this synastry aspects with someone, it can make for a pretty powerful aspect to have in a connection with someone. In a lot of ways, having the synastry aspect can actually feel like a bit like a dream or spiritual bond between two people. And because the South Node is all about the past and our past lives, this can also make for the connection to also be one with a bit of a karmic tie between the two people, a karmic tie from another lifetime. With the Neptune and the South Node both being involved in this aspect and there being a conjunction, this connection can also feel like there's something pretty ethereal that's happening between the two of them, and it's because of this aspect. When it comes to Neptune represents things like dreams and illusions and spirituality and even things like compassion and fantasy. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the South Node represents the past, and when it comes to that past, it can be both in this lifetime but also in other lifetimes. And so when both the Neptune and the South Node are meeting up together in a conjunction with both of these energies at play, this can make for a connection that does feel very spiritual. It also feels like there is a feeling of a karmic tie between the Neptune person and the South Node person. And with the connection feeling like it is rooted in a lot of these things like spirituality and even things like sharing of a karmic past, it can make the connection feel like destiny is at play when it comes to what they have with each other. And the connection can feel fated or otherworldly. And at the same time, also like it's very hard to define. In this connection, with this aspect in a relationship, the South Node person is very drawn to the North Node person for things like qualities like their compassion and their creativity, or even something quite mysterious about the Neptune person that the South Node person sees and is drawn to. It's even possible that for the South Node person, they may feel that the Neptune person is kind of completing or bringing back something that they may have felt like they had lost from the past. While on the other hand, when it comes to how the Neptune person feels about the South Node person and why they are drawn to the South Node person, the Neptune person here could feel a lot of compassion for the South Node person, and they could actually want to protect the South Node person or to heal them or even to save them. A lot of that for the Neptune person can be coming from this place of feeling spiritually connected to the South Node person. However, when it comes to the more challenging sides of this connection, or where the challenges could lie, is that Neptune can be also a planet that is one that brings a lot of foggy kind of energy, and there could be a sense of the Neptune person not seeing the South Node person very clearly in this connection. And there is the potential of this connection being a very beautiful one because of this aspect, but at the same time, there could also be the potential for the risk of there being a lot of projection in this connection and a lot of projecting onto each other. And when it comes to the connection with this aspect, it can make things feel very beautiful, feel like even a soulmate-like connection to share with someone. But when it comes to that soulmate-like feeling of this connection, it can also be one that is as a result of really projecting onto each other at times, especially because the Neptune person here could potentially be seeing the South Node person in a way that's like they are idealizing them and seeing only the best parts of them and seeing them in this idealized kind of way of looking at them. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the South Node person here has the potential to really fall into this place of feeling very comfortable in this connection with the Neptune person. They may even feel emotionally there is a strong dependency on the Neptune person in this connection with them, and they could confuse that sense of comfort for love. And when it comes to having this aspect in a relationship with someone, it can also be one that does stir up a lot of emotions brought upon from the past. And those emotions can also be tied to things like patterns from the past and old wounds from the past being something that is being played out in this connection with each other. And they can even look like a lot of self-sacrifice in this connection with each other. And with the Neptune conjuncting the South Node, even things like escapism, addiction, or being a martyr, these are all things that can also come up in the connection with each other that they can go through. And these can be patterns that can easily be fallen into in this connection with this aspect for both the Neptune person or the South Node person. And especially if the way that they are connecting with each other is not being handled in a very conscious way. These kind of patterns could be patterns from the past that are kind of resurfacing in their relationship with each other. When it comes to having this aspect, it can be a strong indicator of a past life connection for both the Neptune person and the South Node person. And they could have shared a past life with each other where one person was like a spiritual guide to the other person, or one person was a healer or even a savior to the other person in a past life. And that story could be one that is repeating now, for better or for worse, in this lifetime. And for that reason, this aspect can also point to a connection that feels like there's unfinished business between the two of them. And essentially between the Neptune person and the South Node person, it's like they are learning to break free or break an illusion from the past that is no longer serving them in this lifetime or in this present. And when it comes to having this aspect with someone, it can be one that has a lot of potential for things like healing and a very deep spiritual kind of connection to share with someone, and also an artistic kind of a connection to share with someone. The connection can be one that can teach both the Neptune person and the South Node person a lot of lessons, especially if they are open to being able to see the connection for what it is and being able to see each other clearly instead of experiencing it as a fantasy or being overly dependent on each other and having this feeling of the connection being one that is codependent, like they're seeing each other in a very idealized way or looking at the connection in a very idealized way, like they are trying to recreate an idealized past in this connection with each other, which is when a lot of the challenges can come up in this connection, and it can even potentially not last in that case, or it could dissolve. And that feeling of this connection feeling like a dream feels like it's just that, an experience that feels like a dream that fades away after waking up from it. But essentially, when it comes to this aspect, it can make for a pretty powerful aspect to add to a relationship between two people. It can feel like it is one that is going to change both the people in some way when it comes to experiencing this relationship with each other with this aspect in it. Even if the relationship does not last forever, it is still going to be one with a very big impact, and also one that feels like it touches both of their souls on a deep level. When it comes to this aspect and the challenges that can come up with having this aspect, especially if not approached in a very conscious way, when it comes to them coming together in this relationship, it is in how one person can fall into this role of being like a rescuer to the other, and the other can in turn become quite dependent in this connection, and it can become codependent. And that is where the challenging parts of this connection can come in, because there is this feeling of wanting to be able to heal or save or even protect the other in this connection with this aspect. And it can include or have to do with things like addictions or escapism in some form in this connection, whether it is escapism through fantasy or romantic obsession, or any other literal addiction or emotional addictions. When it comes to this aspect, many people with this aspect do feel like this sense of meeting a person who feels very familiar, and the connection feels like it is meeting a person who feels very ethereal and almost like a dream come true, where it feels like they have known the other person forever, even if it's the first time meeting them, or it feels like they are picking up from where they left off. But as time goes on, cracks can start to kind of be seen in the foundation, where things like promises aren't being kept or aren't matching actions, or one person is kind of drifting in this connection. And even things like the connection kind of feeling like it's becoming emotionally draining because it's becoming increasingly intense. The intensity of the emotional connection can feel draining over time. And that's because with this aspect, because it is a south node instead of the north node, this one is more so focused on the past and healing the past. And this connection feels very healing, and it does lead to a lot of changes that are also going to be quite healing for both one or both of the individuals in this connection with this aspect. Whereas if it was an aspect between Neptune and the North Node, this would be more so focused on the future and building a spiritual path for the future. This aspect, however, is all about being able to heal patterns born on from the past. And it can still be very profound for these reasons. And between the South Node person and the Neptune person, they experience a lot of growth, especially in being able to heal. And there can be a lot of emotional healing and growth. There can also be the potential in the positive for this connection to also be one that has a lot of creative energy between the Neptune person and the South Node person, and they can collaborate in a lot of ways, like in art or in music or in spirituality. And both the Neptune person and the South Node person grow in a lot of ways that transcends things like ego and addiction, or this victim savior pattern. That this connection can also be one that kind of inspires that between the two people and their dynamic with each other. Ultimately, in their relationship, they are releasing a karmic tie, and they're doing it with compassion. And if they are willing, also doing it with clarity. It's not necessarily an indicator of a long-term or long-lasting connection, but it can be a connection that is built to last as well, if they're both working towards that and they're being very conscious and intentional in being able to do so. However, even if this relationship between the Neptune person and the South Node person is one that is short-lived or is one that is not meant to be long-term, there is still going to be a lot of profound impact and healing and lessons brought upon from having this aspect in their relationship with each other. For example, with this connection being one that does feel very karmic, and it being one that is a pretty karmic connection between the South Node person and the Neptune person, this can also be a reason for them to stay together, and they can even fall into this trap of staying together for the sake of the connection feeling very deeply karmic, instead of staying together because it's a functional kind of a relationship. And this can be a challenge. It can also be more of a red flag with having this aspect between the two of them. Well, that does it for this video on having your Neptune in a conjunction to your partner's South Node in Synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.